In a significant step towards strengthening Nigerian democracy and shaping national development, the Nigerian Former Legislators (NFLF) held its maiden summit on Saturday, the 3rd of May 2025 at the International Conference Center, Enugu, Nigeria. The forum, which is an assemblage of former legislators, had Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, as a convener, and coordinated by Honorable Uko Nkole, who represented the Ohofia Arochukwu Federal Constituency of Abia State. It aims to put a sustainable structure in place to leverage the wealth of experience in Nigerian lawmaking. Speaking at the event, Senator Stella Odua proposed a sustainable welfare scheme to ensure long-term sustainability for members.
The truth of the matter is, it's a given that for a spectrum, for a forum such as this, Deputy Speaker, when we spoke, I was so happy, but you had no idea. But let me tell you why, briefly. Just imagine the strength that this forum will houses. Imagine the intellectual strength collectively, say from 1992 till date. Imagine the training. Imagine what these people have done for their communities. Imagine the institutional storage and memory that they hold. Why they are not being put into use is what I can just not understand. But what you have done is to give this life, which means that number one, the self-esteem that will emanate from this forum for members is huge. And that in turn means that you have better leaders in them because you have recognized their relevance. Some of us, our villages, our communities were not known, were unheard of until you legislators made those community names known. Now, no deliberate effort or lack of it from federal government or from any government functionary. The fact is that there are so many communities. And so when you become a legislator, you become the flagship of your community, one, of your constituency. You become their voice. And your voice gives their needs visibility. And it doesn't stop. Which means that as we go, the strength that this forum will houses. My brother, Deputy Speaker, Mr. Chairman, this is one of the best things that has happened to this nation. So just one last one. I think, Deputy Speaker, please, a message. These people's welfare is very paramount.
Addressing the gathering, Honorable Benjamin Kalu described former lawmakers as vital reservoirs of insights whose wealth of experience remains crucial to Nigerian development. According to Honorable Kalu, NFLF would adopt a robust framework that prioritizes pension security, holistic welfare, institutionalized expertise, and privileges for its members.
This constellation of leaders underscores an unfiltered truth. The legislature is the forge where Nigerians' finest leaders are shaped. That is the point. Therefore, the NFLF must harness this reservoir of wisdom to strengthen our democracy. Let us then draw insight from global models on how to approach framing this esteemed forum. In the United States, former members of Congress transition into a structured ecosystem. They retain privileges like floor access, free mail, and correspondence access for 90 days, and lifetime health benefits under the Federal Employees Retirement System, FERS, which provides pension up to 80% of transition into public life. In the military, it is there, and other, sectors. So this is one of the organizations that will put mechanism in place to enable you move from one stage in life to the other without a struggle. Supporting one another politically, one another socially, and one another economically. Because we say once a legislator, always a... Once a legislator, always a... So that community of legislators must be made to be alive. And that is what NFLF is setting out to do. We help each other economically, we help each other socially, we help each other politically. Because politically, like have been said here over and over in most advanced democratic climes, the longer you stay in the parliament, the more you contribute because of your wealth of knowledge. There are some people here who need to be re-elected, who need to be recycled to complex election because they are wasting the abundance of knowledge and capacity that they have. So we are going to identify as a forum individuals that have the capacity to go back to the parliament to continue from where they stop. We must form a strong policy pressure group, a legislative lobbying arm to advocate for our collective interests within the corridors of power. We must be a pressure group that everyone would like to have our input on issues. In doing so, we recognize that the nation has invested vast resources in training each legislator present here. Allowing that investment to go to the West upon leaving office should be discouraged at all costs, because that is wasting taxpayers' money. This platform will reduce the pressures on those who lose elections by providing mentorship, networking opportunities, and pathways into new careers and public service roles. So we will not leave you alone. You will no longer stand alone when you lose elections. This forum will take you up, showcase other opportunities available for you, even if you are not going for re-election. They provide platform where you will be resourceful to contribute to the growth of your community and the nation. The NFLF must establish a knowledge bureau to document legislative best practices and launch congressional study groups on critical issues like the economy, the security, foreign policy, and trade. Let us partner with universities, as the US does, deploying former members as ambassadors for civic literacy on campuses and in communities. Number 4 assignment will be privileges and will be on privileges and facilities available to the members of this forum. Inspired by the US, we should grant lifetime ID card for National Assembly access, certain privileges for post-tenure transition like healthcare insurance and parking in legislative complexes. These courtesies overseen by bipartisan committees honor service while preventing abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, the NFLF's institutional framework must mirror global rigor. An executive committee with staggered term will ensure continuity, while an advisory board of corporate and policy experts will guide strategic partnership. Funding will rely on endowment funds, membership dues, corporate donations, and a grant self-sustaining model similar to the U.S. Association of Former Members of Congress. A call to collective action.
For the host governor, Peter Ndobisi Mba of Enugu State, hosting the historic summit in the state was both fitting and symbolic. Governor Mba noted that from all indication, the summit has opened a new chapter, offering former lawmakers a platform to help strengthen Nigerian democracy and development.
The idea to have this maiden edition of the Nigerian Former Legislators Forum Conference in Enugu is quite fitting. It's quite fitting given Enugu's history. This is because it was here that the earliest formal legislative activities started, right here in Enugu. And this was, again, as I did mention yesterday, sometime around the 40s, when the defunct Eastern Regional House of Assembly was inaugurated alongside two other houses of assembly in the country.
In his keynote address, the guest speaker and the former Speaker of House of Representatives, Yakub Dogara, highlighted the role of former legislators in protecting democracy. He stressed that their leadership, experience, and mentorship must be preserved and utilized.
Democracy is a system of governance that relies on the active participation of citizens. It is defined as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Democracy's appeal has always been the constitutional guarantee that affords the people a good measure of control and influence over their affairs as individuals or groups. Historically, people choose democracy over monarchy, totalitarianism, and other forms of government in order for them to have a say in the way and manner they are governed or led. The promise of democracy includes life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But for democracy to thrive, democratic culture must permeate all strata of society. Democratic culture includes, but not limited to, the following: democratic elections, free, fair, and transparent elections that reflect the will of the people. Representative government. By that I mean elected officials who truly, underline the word truly, strong on the willingness of great men and women like you and I within it to reach out to each other and work together. Take it or leave it. If Nigeria is the major promise, those that will deliver on that promise, with those of us here who will summon the courage to turn to each other, not turn on each other in the spirit of justice, equity, and fair play, and lead national efforts for national healing and unity. No one is better positioned to take up this responsibility than some of us who know where the proverbial dead bodies are buried when it comes to how our democracy works in Nigeria. Assuredly, our lives will begin to change. The day we take responsibility for it, the future of peace, development, and progress is very possible, but only if we can take the risks and accept the responsibility of consciously creating it. The only life that is sweet and worth living is the one to take responsibility for choosing. This is the reason I highly commend the organizers of today's event for summoning us here in order to remind us that we need to awake to our better angels by taking up the responsibility to deepen our democracy. Conclusion: as former legislators, we have a critical role to play in deepening democracy and promoting national progress. By, I have said, promoting democratic values, building networks and alliance, fostering constructive dialogue, and advocating for justice and equality, we can contribute significantly to the country's development. It is essential for former legislators to work together to strengthen democracy and its institutions, thereby ensuring that it delivers on its promises to all our citizens. Working together includes not allowing party politics to divide or prevent us from performing the crucial roles I've mentioned above. I'm impressed with the turnout here across party lines. If we must progress and make impact as former legislators, we must do it together, regardless of party politics in the national interest. Once again, kudos to the organizers of this wonderful event. As they say, united we stand, divided we fall.
The event drew prominent former lawmakers from across Nigeria, including ex-Senate President Ken Nnamani and Pius Ayim, former Speaker Yakubu Dogara, former Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha, former Imo Governor Rochas Okorocha, ex-Minister of Aviation Stella Odua, Right Honorable Toby Okechukwu, Executive Director, Project, Southeast Development Commission, and a host of other notable lawmakers in Nigeria. The summit concluded with the adoption of a communique and recommendations aimed at improving legislative processes and outcomes, signaling a promising start.
When you think of online TV and radio, broadcasting, media consultancy, event coverage, event management and planning, there's no better name than Ogama TV. But that's not all. We're also into photo studio and coverage, equipment rental, news blogging, fashion and pageantry. We are at number 5/21 Chime Avenue, beside Open Sheraton Restaurant, New Haven, Enugu. Follow us on our social media handles: Facebook at Ogama TV, Instagram at Ogama TV1, Twitter at Ogama TV, website www.ogamatv.com. You can also send us email at ogamatv@gmail.com. Ogama TV, your one-stop media solution.